Yo, we're back. What's going on, everybody? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Road man thing, sticky situations. Still, you don't know what's going on here. It's your boy, you know what I'm saying? Black Rock Dave, man, Big Alex Comedy. We got the next one, guessing it, episode number 20, innit? Right?
You know how hard it is to follow this introduction? What do I say now? What do I go into a Chinese accent or something? What do you want me to do?
Welcome back to the Velvet Sugar Podcast, episode 20.
Oh, man, we got a very special guest here.
Yes.
I want you to do the introduction.
I'm your co-host, David Beckles Jr. at Black Rock Dave. This is
at Big Alex Comedy.
Yes, and we got a very special guest today in the building.
What's going on,
Mr.
everybody?
Fred Barrows, a.k.a.
Federico.
Federico. You know what I'm saying? We film this podcast at the Greenburgh Town Hall Studios. And this man is born and raised in the neighborhood. So it's common sense. It's easy. Bring him in. Let him talk to you guys. Let him talk to us. Educate us on what we're doing, what he's doing. And that's it.
You were born here?
I was
in Greenburgh?
I was born in White Plains Hospital.
Yeah.
I lived right in 90 Manhattan Avenue in the building,
Nice.
by the projects, and this is where I was born and raised.
So what was it like being a 12-pound baby? Because I was an 11-pound baby and my mom almost died. So I want to know.
I'll ask my mom about that, but she did say, at White Plains Hospital, they almost dropped me. The nurses, everybody gasped. They said, and she leaned up in the bed like,
Her biceps are cramping up. Like, God, Jesus.
You couldn't tell me when I was a kid that I wasn't going to be Shaquille O'Neal. I wasn't going to be 7'3",
Well, how tall are you?
I'm about 6'4", 6'5" right now.
How you know how big you were as a baby?
When I was a baby, I think I was 9 pounds, I believe, 9, 10, somewhere around there.
9 pounds. So what? Hold on, 5, 9. 9 pounds, right? You said?
Yep.
Yeah.
I was 10 even, almost 10 even.
Yeah, when I was when I was about 7 years old, I was already 5'5", 100 and something pounds already.
Do you remember
at 8 years old? I was already 100.
This guy went through what I went through, so we're going to talk about something right now.
Yeah.
I have a vivid memory of what I weighed exactly in the 5th grade because they weighed us in the nursing room, and you came out of the nurse, and every kid's like, "What'd you weigh?"
Yep.
And you know what I weighed in the 5th grade?
What?
198.
Sheesh.
I was a little chubby, but that's not. I wasn't that fat. That's how big I was. So on the class pictures, you saw the teacher, all the kids, and the teacher assistant, who was really me, who I look like a teacher assistant. I was bigger than the teacher, always.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Some big,
that was
big
rough.
boys, man.
Yeah, man. The kids were like, "What do you weigh?" I'm like 198. And the whole school was talking about it.
How old were you in the 5th grade?
How old are you in the 5th grade? So I got held back.
What do you call it, 9, 10?
Hold on. I that's a good question. So my daughter's in the 8th grade and she's 13. Right. So let's count backwards. 7th grade.
You're about
12.
10, 11 in the 5th grade. Around 11.
So
but I was a year older because I got held back.
Right.
So that means you were only here how many years? Like 3 years?
I was here like 2 years. I came here in 2nd grade and 3 years later I got held back. Right. So that's really
No, it's still
2nd grade, 2nd, 3rd, again 3rd, 4th, 5th, 5 plus 12. I was 12. So I was a year. Yeah, you're 12 in the 5th grade.
Okay. See, I grew up in the British system.
No. 11. Sorry.
No, I grew up. We grew up with primary school and secondary school. So we had nursery, primary, secondary. That's how it is in there. Thanks, England. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It's a whole different. Wait.
Yeah. So
okay.
Did you still have your accent or no?
No, I didn't speak any English. I came. I was 7.
No.
That took about. I think. I don't remember because you're a kid. Maybe two years and it's gone.
Okay. Yeah. Kids usually acclimate pretty fast.
But I was more taller than wider, but I was still wide. But I was tall.
Like, this is my Russian
classmate. But I wanted to play basketball, and Fred here is a basketball player. Yeah. We were just talking.
I you know what? I saw you posted something a while ago that had you playing some clips. You playing ball in junior high, right?
Oh,
you remember?
Yes.
Tell us about that. Tell us about that.
I played for a team named Greenburgh Kings.
Yeah.
Down at the community center, they had a team named Frenzy.
Yeah.
Frenzy was, really known around the area, especially in Westchester.
Yeah.
And me and my guys, we were rebellious. We decided we were going to make our own team. We had 2 of my teammates' dads coaching us, things like that. Yeah. And we became really good really fast. Yeah. Maybe within 2 years, we were already competing at the AAU Nationals.
Your dad coaching you?
No, my friend's dad.
Your friend's dad.
Yep, he was the coach.
Dad. So let's talk about something. Before we started the podcast, we were talking, and you said, I said to you, what? So we're talking about football, and you said what? Your dad's what?
Oh, my dad, he was in the NFL. His name is Sam Bowers. He played for the Chicago Bears, and I think '87, I believe that was. I wasn't born yet.
1 season, 2 seasons?
I believe it was 1 or 2, somewhere around there. But he also played in the USFL for our now president's team, the New Jersey Generals, with Doug Flutie and Herschel Walker.
Okay. History in the building.
Yeah, so he's in the White Plains Hall of Fame, things like that. He's a Westchester legend for football for sure. I wasn't born, of course.
What did he play? What position?
Tight end.
He played tight end.
Yep.
Oh, how tall?
My dad is about 6'4", maybe.
That's a perfect tight end, right?
6'4", 230, something like that, somewhere around there.
In today's league, that's like a little shorter for a tight end. Right now they're getting like huge.
Yeah.
Right. All these guys are like 6.
Gronk was like 6'7", and Travis Kelce's like 6'7".
No, Gronk is like 6'5".
No,
he's not 6'7". Yeah, I don't.
I think Kelsey is taller than him.
Kelsey's the tall one.
Sure.
Gronk is like 6'4", 6'5".
I think Kelsey's taller than him.
Okay.
And then you got to realize too, a lot of the tight ends were good basketball players for the most part.
Kelsey
Tony
was,
Gonzalez,
right? Kelsey played.
Kelsey.
Gronk played or no?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
But a lot of those guys, they kind of
6'6".
Yeah, Gronk is 6'6". They kind of transition. So my dad played basketball and football.
So they're like a little too heavy to play point guard. So they're like, when you be a tight end.
So they go in.
He is 6'6".
Wreak havoc on the
All right.
Jeez. So you went through the Greenburgh school system.
I went through the Greenburgh school system. Midway through. My mom and dad, they got a divorce early when I was playing maybe 3 or 4. So I was back and forth between the Bronx and Greenburgh, but mostly Greenburgh for the most part.
Okay.
I went to Woodlands High School, and that's where I graduated
Where's
from.
that?
Yeah.
Right here in Hartsdale.
Right here in Hartsdale? Okay.
Yeah.
My daughter went to that school.
And that's the high school I graduated from. I actually coach against them tomorrow. I coach at Alexander Hamilton High School in Elmsford right there. So, it's a rivalry going.
This is a lucky way you grew up, you realize. You grew up in the town. You're still in the town.
Yeah.
You have memories here. You can see those memories. Not everybody gets that.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. That's why it's important to get people from.
My theory is a lot of people, especially from small towns, they dream big to get out of the small town.
Yeah.
To go to the bigger cities, things like that, and my mentality was I wanted to give back. I wanted to stay. I wanted to be able to have something here.
Yeah.
No matter what it was I was doing, whether it was basketball, entertainment, anything. Just a breeding ground for people to say, oh, that's Greenburgh, and I know Greenburgh because I know Fred, and I know his organization, and I know what he's doing. So I'm always going to attach Greenburgh to that.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's my
sense.
mentality,
Makes
and that's why I stayed.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Build, and also to give life is like a relay race.
Yep.
You just pass the baton. So you build something. Somebody says, "Oh my God, I can do this," as opposed to something else.
Speaking of passing the baton, the program I was telling you about from the Greenburgh Center, Frenzy, that's who passed the baton to me. Wow. The guy's name is Benji, Coach Benji. He's a legend, and he's the one who kind of passed the torch to me. I did a docu-series episode recently, and I actually had a moment where we're talking together and things like that in the community center. Okay. So speaking of passing the baton, that's who I got the baton from.
Awesome. That's awesome. Side note, Fred and I met 2020.
Yep.
Right? Through June.
Yep. Shout out my brother June Namor.
Shout out June. Funny, we did as a short film called Homegoing.
Homegoing. Yep.
I would tell y'all how I met June. You don't know June. But
no.
Another guy from the community.
Okay.
Right. I was on the road for work and I came home and I need to get some printer ink. So I went to Staples. June was at Staples at the time. And we just met him. He helped us out. We started talking. I was like, yeah, I'm a comedian, actor. Mm-hmm. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna do a short film. Man, and I'm looking for actors, and he used actors from the neighborhood, right? And about a year later, he contacted me, and that was it. That's how we met Fred.
Trader Joe's?
No.
Where was it? Where was it?
Where did you Trader Joe's?
Where'd you hear?
Staples.
Staples? I heard Trader Joe's. I'm hungry. Trader Joe's, man. I don't know. But so you got siblings. How many siblings you have?
I have 4 sisters and 2 brothers.
Damn.
And I'm the youngest.
You're one of 7, and then you're the youngest?
And I'm the youngest.
And any other sports?
My brothers played football, baseball. My sisters mostly played basketball.
All of them, all four?
Yeah, basketball. So I have a sister who's 6'3", actually. You know,
Can you imagine the sports? Can you imagine like the equipment in that house?
Listen, my mom was on. I literally was just telling a friend today. I didn't live the normal life of, oh, we're having family dinners, and we were always on the go. My mom or dad was with one of us all the time, to the point where my mom would just throw us $20 and say, all right, you better get busy, figure it out. You know, that's dinner for tonight. And that's what the household was like. It was competitive.
So wait, you're one of seven, you're the youngest, so you always wore hand-me-down clothes, basically.
You want to know what's crazy? No, because my brothers,
this was your brother's 10 years ago.
I was wearing bigger clothes than my brothers by the time I got to 7th grade.
Oh, because you were bigger, but you were the youngest.
Yeah, I'm the biggest, but I'm the youngest. You know, so
you're like, I want new clothes, so I'm gonna eat.
So you know, I'm 12 years old. I'm telling my sisters at prom, you know, you better make it home by midnight. You know, things like that. I was the big little brother, but yeah, you know,
size beats age.
It was competitive. I didn't become the best basketball player in my household and my family out of my siblings until I was 14.
Wow.
My older sister, she was the reigning champ in the house when it came to basketball.
She was talented early.
Yeah,
But then people like that, is this true with her? The talent, those people are super talented, they kind of fizzle out and they just lose interest in it a little bit.
Well, you know, in a women's game, the access to, you know, being a pro is a little different than, you know,
how is it now? Would it have been different now?
Well, now it's gotten better.
Yeah, it's gotten
better, you know.
Blowing up and everything. Yeah. It blew up basketball a little bit.
And I think at that point, you know, it kind of is one of those things where when you're a woman back then, especially in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, if you don't make it to the WNBA, it's kind of like,
you might have to look overseas.
Yeah, and
but
the
league was not.
And everyone's not motivated to do that,
right?
You know, and I believe that's probably what my sister was thinking. Yeah. So you know, she's like, I don't like Russian jail cells. You know what? I don't know. You know, luckily she doesn't, you know, have vape pens and things like that. You
He's like packing the bag. See you never later.
What do you have in your bag? What is this? You have marijuana in your bag?
Yeah,
no, you have to
go
to jail.
So that was pretty much the thing. And you know, my older brother, he played football at Iona. That's when Iona had a football team at that point.
Okay. Iona is right here in New Rochelle.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, you know, I learned a lot of lessons from my older brother. You know, this is in no way to smut his name, anything like that. You know, got into some legal troubles, got into trouble in school, things like that. And I learned early.
Yeah.
Okay, college is not a joke. You know, the rules are different. Everything's different. This is not middle school, you know, and I learned so much. My sister literally used to sneak me into her dorm room with my other sister, and she would watch us for the weekend, things like that. And we would have to sneak around from the RAs and things like that.
Wow.
You know, so without that, you know, dynamic, definitely I'm not the man I am today at all. Those little, you know, bumps in the road that they went through, that's what I learned.
Yeah. That's good to have sisters and brothers. That's a good dynamic. You got both. Yeah. They take care of you when you're little?
Most definitely. Yeah, most definitely. You know, it was crazy because we didn't always live together. There was times where we would split. You know, we'll be one of my sisters would be at my grandmother's house in New Jersey. You know, the rest of us would be in the Bronx, things like that. You know, and we were close knit because we had to be. You know, me and, you know, two of my sisters, we all shared one room.
We're in the Bronx, by the way.
In the Bronx, Throgsneck, in the projects.
Throgsneck.
You know, Throgsneck for the most part in the outskirts. It's a nice area, things like that.
So wait a minute, give me the years this all happened.
This is about 2001 to about 2004.
How old are you?
I'm 30.
I was looking across the water there from him in Bayside. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
I used to stand on top of the building and I did not know what I was looking at. I'm like,
I was
look
like,
at Jersey.
Bronx. I never went there.
I'm like, look at New Jersey. It is Queens. And I'm like, look at New Jersey.
Bronx. What's over there? my dad was like, that's where cars go when they get stolen.
Cars go when they get towed?
When they get stolen. Stolen. That's all my dad said.
That's funny.
All of the above. Yeah, but you know, it's Throgsneck definitely, you know, gave me edge. It gave me an edge to grow up in the Bronx, and Greenburgh gave me a sense of community.
So it's projects there in the Bronx.
Yeah, it's the projects. Yeah.
Any NBA guys ever come out of there?
Out
Because
of
New York City, right?
Out of there, no.
No. It's always Queens and Brooklyn, right?
Queens and Brooklyn for the most part, and then if it is the Bronx, it's other areas.
But
you know,
you got a bridging That's in the NBA.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Tell us who the brethren is, yo.
Donovan Mitchell, Cleveland
up Donovan
Cavaliers,
Mitchell,
you know,
bro.
superstar,
Yes, sir.
NBA All-Star.
So for the white people, brethren is code for friend, for close friend. Go on.
Yeah, you know, and me and Donovan, we grew up playing together here in Greenburgh, and Donovan is probably 2 years younger than me, but he played up because he was already good. You know, Donovan was 13 years old, already dunking and putting the ball between his legs and dunking in the air.
Jesus.
At
How
13.
tall Donovan?
Donovan is only
Can you
about
pull up Donovan?
6'2",
Terrence?
6'3", maybe.
Yeah.
He's about 6'2".
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's one of the best guys in
To
the
me,
NBA.
to watch a guy dunk who's 6'3", oh my God, the airtime. 6'3".
Yeah, you know, so that's where he got the nickname Spider from because he wasn't the tallest guy, but his jumping ability
And
was.
he got a power game.
You want to know what's funny? When we were kids, right?
Right.
Though he was dunking that at that age
Yeah.
and that well,
Yeah.
me personally, I didn't see this for him. And the reason why I didn't see this for him is because, you know, his handle and his jump shot wasn't like it is today or when he was at Louisville.
Right.
You know, when we were younger, it was, oh, okay, he can dunk. Okay, cool.
But he wasn't a good shooter.
Yeah, but you know, the shooting in, but once he put it all together at Louisville, then things changed.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, once you have Coach K talking to you during the game when you're playing against Duke and, you know, those conversations start going up, it's like.
And so where's he from, Donovan Mitchell?
He's from Elmsford, New York.
You told me this, Elmsford.
Yep,
Okay.
he's from
Okay.
Elmsford. Yep. And so, you know,
Damn.
It took me a minute to figure it out because, you know, I'm from Brooklyn. I grew up in Barbados. And when I moved up here, I was like, yeah, we're moving to White Plains. Technically, we're not.
you know, we're very geographical here. You know, if you're from Greenburgh, your postal code, it might say White Plains, New York, but we do not say we are from White Plains.
Yeah,
we are from
at all.
We have a comedian, so we're comedians. We have a comedian who does a great joke on this. Shout out to Tim
Tim
Deary.
Deary, yeah.
Who does, how does the joke go? I don't want to burn his joke. But what does he say?
Talks about
It's,
Westchester.
There's Chester,
New York.
East Chester, Port Chester. There's all these Chesters,
Yeah, yeah.
and they're within towns that are called Chester.
Yeah.
It's the most confusing.
Because I put it together like maybe a year ago. I'm like, it's the town of Greenburgh, right?
Yes.
City of White Plains.
Well, there's like Hamlets too. And
then
that's
you
confusing.
got villages.
Village of Elmsford.
Right.
So you got the village of Elmsford, village of
Terrytown,
Hartsdale,
things like
village
that.
of
Yeah.
So village is
Imperial.
like a hamlet, right?
What is a hamlet?
Yeah, I don't know exactly. What is a hamlet? I think it's like a small village. I don't know.
Well, you want to know what's crazy? A lot of the condos and things like that, they're called hamlets and
Yeah.
things like that. So that's the only time I see hamlet.
Yeah.
And it stems from a lot of the Watertown areas.
Yeah.
You know, the Terrytowns, things like that. All the stuff that's close to the water.
Okay.
And then it's constructed in a way whereas because when I first started to get my daughter into Elmsford school, it's like no, that's not. I'm like it's literally around the corner. They're like no, it's all the way over there. I was like,
It's
what is
geographical.
this?
It's a lot of cutoff lines
Yeah,
and things like that.
Hartsdale, Scarsdale, White Plains is here. Hartsdale is across the street.
Yep.
It's
It's all
Bizarre,
close.
right?
Yeah.
And then the postal codes, they don't make any sense either. You can be in one town and be in a school district and the postal code for another. It's
Right.
bizarre.
Yep, like in Greenburgh, you might have 10607, 10603.
Yeah.
You know, things like that. You know,
I feel that there's 7 nerds who find this interesting right now. And they're like, oh, now they're talking my language.
but I'm
Postal
saying-
code,
I'm
some
saying-
nerd.
I'm gonna tell you, if you go downstairs in one of the offices, there's like town zoning, and it breaks it all down.
Wow.
Actually, it does.
Like, I don't know about this basketball nonsense, but this postal code is right up my alley.
I love the town zoning.
it's funny. It's like
that.
I was telling Dave, you know, when I walked in here, I'm like, I've never been in town of Greenburgh, you know, town hall of Greenburgh,
Yeah.
other than when I came to pick up my check because they mailed it incorrectly. That's the only time I've ever been here. Other than that, I've never been in here. So I didn't know any of these things. But hey, I walked in.
That's an awesome gift that you got that you're still in this town that you grew up in. That's cool. That's a cool
Not
thing,
only
you know?
active, not just in the town. He's active. He's coaching basketball at Alex Grady.
Listen, my thing is this. I really judge people that don't give back to their communities in any way.
Yeah.
Because there's different forms to do it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't care if you have a hair salon, if you cut hair, if you do community outreach programs, if you do entertainment, if you do sports. There's different forms to reach in the community.
Yeah.
And this is just my form and this is just my lane and my avenue and I'm running with it. You know, my thing is we're in the social media era.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
A lot of these kids are jaded. There's so much clout chasing going on. It's so much, it's just a huge dream where it's unrealistic, and we're not. And my job is to snap them back into reality.
Right.
Yeah.
To let them know that everything you see on TikTok is not all real life.
Yeah.
My son
Most of
is
it not.
my son is 16 and a half. He's gonna go for his road test tomorrow.
Okay.
So for that,
Good
this
luck.
is like, I can't believe he's gonna be driving by himself in the car.
Yeah.
You know what he did the other day?
What?
I'm gonna tell you what he guys did. And while you're gonna listen to this, I'm gonna tell him. I'm gonna say his name. God forbid somebody's from the school, but they're gonna figure it out. I drop him off at Planet Fitness, but he drove. So I drop him off to the Planet Fitness. I get out of the car, and he gets out of the car. And I go, hey, so you want me to get you a drink while you're in there? And I start walking around to get into, because I was gonna drive home and then pick him up later.
Right.
So he gets out of the car, I get out of the car. And I look, we're behind a car. And I look and I'm like, why is the car still moving? He forgot to put it in park. So you know what I did? I dove in the car head first. My face was like this next to the brake pedal, and I slammed on the brake pedal. It was this close to the guy's bumper.
Wow.
He doesn't put it in park. And I get out, and he's like, oh, sorry.
Well, good luck to him tomorrow. Good luck. Hopefully he puts it in park.
Listen,
Oh, man.
It's funny.
Scary.
In the islands, totally different. I did a road test here. I couldn't believe it. In Barbados, the road test was an hour, right? Stick shift. I mean, now it's different, but back in the day, it was stick shift.
This sounds like the European system, the British.
You had to go up a hill, down a hill. You had to reverse up and reverse down. Stop in and put it doing your
with a
clutch.
stick shift.
Yeah, with a stick shift.
Wow.
Then you're like, we have parallel parking for parking, but there you had these poles you had to back into evenly.
Mm-hmm.
Right. My auntie, God rest her soul, she got her driver's license in her 50s. I think she failed like twice before she got a third time. It wasn't no joke. You
That's
had to
rigorous.
stick to- yeah, it was.
Yeah.
God, was it?
In Europe, you know what they do in my country? You got to take a 6-month class, learn the dynamic of you got to take a little class too where they have paperwork and show. You got to learn the insides of a car and the clutch. And it's a whole course, and people fail a lot. Yeah, you got to learn.
I mean, but
become
now
good
it's
drivers.
most of the cars.
Yeah,
are-
meanwhile, I'm upset that I got to do parallel parking like this as opposed to using the camera. I'm
Yeah,
upset.
yeah,
And then listening to this, that was crazy. I
Yeah.
never thought about what a driver's test in other countries would be like.
Imagine going down the hill. You got to stop, all right? Put the car in neutral, pull up the handbrake. Then restart it, balance the clutch. Don't go back too much or else you fail. Right? And then you go down. You got to use your mirrors, your side mirrors, and go down. It was brutal.
I'll tell you a little fact. My brother's a truck driver. Yeah, he has technically his own business, his own truck he owns.
He loves to drive straight.
No, so if you drive a car that's automatic, you're using let's say they say, because you ever zone out and drive because you've been driving a long time?
Yeah, of course.
So when you drive a car in automatic, even if you're an experienced driver, you use like 1 or 2% of your brain because you can zone out because it's so easy. You drive a stick shift, you're using, you know how much? Like 3 or 4. Look, I can look it up, but roughly I'm paraphrasing. It's 2 or 3 or 4 times as much. If you drive a semi like my brother does, it's got a 24-speed dual clutch. You use like 10% of your brain.
Yeah.
Because you have to be active. So he said people will drop out the first week because you can't go downhill on the semi.
Yeah.
When they're training, some people quit the CDL courses. Just picture this: you're going down a switchback where there's like a 1,000-foot drop.
Yeah.
And you can't hit the brakes. You know why? You'll burn them out in a second. The truck's massive. You got to downshift.
Right.
So picture you don't know how to downshift, and people freak out and panic and quit. They said,
I got a boy. He's actually a fan of the show. He got his CDL license driving semis, and it was like a real truncated program, real intense and short. And he used to have to drive from like Florida to Utah.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Across sometimes the GPS puts you like in this road, and it's a bridge that you can't go over, and you're stopping traffic in that little town, right? And the cop of the town is like, after he's done, he's like, he helped him back up. He's like, get out of here. Yeah, them little small town USA.
My brother's been all over the country, and he's got a good story. I'm going to tell it right now. He drove, he was driving. You know how with the CB radio, they could talk to each other?
Yep.
The guy next to him pulls up, and he could see the guy trying to talk to him, but it was a bad connection. But then he heard him, and the guy was saying, your brakes. And he goes, what? They're on fire. So he pulls over, and his brakes are on fire. So apparently truck drivers got to get a fire extinguisher that sprays something like graphite. Because when it's like a blue flame, like this battery fires from Teslas, you can't put it out with a regular extinguisher. My brother didn't get the extinguisher. It was $1,500. So he didn't have the extinguisher. So he just started, these brakes are going on fire and it's going into the cabin of the trailer that he's trailing. He's trailing somebody else's load because, you know, like you don't own that trailer. You just pick it up and you get paid for towing it to California or whatever. And he was halfway. He was already past like 5 states. And the fire is reaching the thing and he's unclipping. You know what was in the trailer? What? It was 40,000 pounds of fire starter logs. Oh! So he showed me an after picture of the trailer. And he showed me like a beginning, middle, end. Beginning is like, the thing is like a Roman candle. The end is, you ever see one Bugs Bunny, like when they blow up the earth and there's just like a little smidgen? There was nothing there except the axles. This thing was like, it went up like 200 feet in the air, the flames. The little fire starters like this, 40,000 pounds of fire starter. And he unhooked the trailer in time and got it away from his truck.
Because of the brakes?
Because the brakes went on fire. Because he didn't know that. He just, sometimes the brakes just go on fire.
Listen, I've driven out of state many times for work. And one thing that I respect is those freaking semis, yo. It is.
Now there's like 2 truck drivers listening to our podcast. Like, all right, boys, I like these guys.
Just because I like these guys. They talking trucks here. Because I had 2,000 pounds of chicken legs.
I can hear him right now being like, what kind of engine was it? Talk about the engine. Was it a Hemi?
Listen, I worked at Amazon. I was tired of the little truck. So I can only imagine, you know.
You did Amazon delivery?
Yeah. Yeah. Briefly.
I heard it's rough. I know somebody who does it right now.
Yeah, because, you know, it's the timing has to be on point, you know, and if you don't, the embarrassing thing is when you don't finish your load and they have to call in a relief for you, you know, it's a joke in the warehouse that, I had to come relieve you, you know, that was a joke.
I went to see about that one time and I didn't like the guy that was running it. He was like, I'm a hard ass, I'm this, I'm that, you know, you got to do this, that. I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't get along good.
Yeah.
You got to smoke a cigar. My brother smokes the cigar with the truck. Yeah. I don't know what is the truck drivers and the cigar.
But they got stuff in it to monitor your speed and
Really?
Yeah.
Amazon. Amazon. They want to make sure like you like they have a calculator where the steps you take, right? Like
and you know, if you take sharp turns, things like that, they calculate all of that. It's crazy.
And you're expected to what? Just deliver a certain amount of packages a day?
Yep.
And then, like, they'll say
within a certain time, Within a certain time.
If you can't, it has to go back to the warehouse.
And do you get penalized for that?
And not that you get penalized per se. They track your timing of you being on the app. So if you're off the app for a long time, you get penalized for that. But if they notice that you're actually making some type of effort, they might have given you too much.
So it's not that bad.
Yeah,
as long as you're on the app.
Yeah, as long as you're on the app, you're good.
So Amazon are good people.
Yeah.
We love Amazon. This podcast is brought to you by Amazon. I don't know. It's not.
I was about to say, man, y'all got some good sponsors here.
You're sponsored by nobody.
Imagine if I get nervous if I saw him pulling up to my house with I ordered like butcher box, but the box is a little open. I'm like, I want to count what's inside because I think we got 4 pork chops in the truck right now. Dude, I tried to be a waiter once. And I was a waiter for very briefly, and every customer looked at me like, I think this guy ate one of my chicken wings. I think this guy, you can't be big and be a waiter.
For sure.
People like, this guy was eyeballing my friend. He took a French fry.
Yeah, I'm like the smallest person here. That's rare.
You looking really small right now.
I'm like, little man. I'm like, yo, little man.
You're like Murph.
Going to the next.
Yeah. We had a guest there. He was like this big. We made him look so small. You're that guy now.
Yeah. My a job that I was no good at. You ever see those guys that try to sell tickets, theater tickets, like in Times Square?
Oh, I love it. Theater tickets?
Yeah, theater ticket.
On the street?
Yeah.
Oh, like barking they call it in comedy, right? Barking.
For comedy, it's barking, but like you actually try to sell tickets to a show. I'm like, I don't believe in this.
It's all tourists, right?
Yeah.
It's all tourists. Okay.
I was like, yeah, I'm not good at this at all. This is.
You ever try sales? Yeah. You ever try sales?
No.
I worked at Under Armour.
Okay.
And when it first opened up in the Westchester Mall, you know, we put the store together, everything, and then, you know, I was in sales for sure. I think I would like to say I have the gift of gab. You know,
you do though. You do.
You know, it was funny. One time they tested me, so I sold to this man $2,000 worth of Under Armour gear, and he went into
one guy, $2,000.
One guy. and he went to every section. Golf.
Why did he buy this much?
Basketball,
What was possibly the
football.
reason?
So
He was white.
So we get to the end of the shift, and my boss brings me into the office, and he's like, "You did a great job today." I'm like,
Okay.
"I do the same thing every day. What was different today?" He was like, "You sold to somebody who's high in the corporation of Under Armour."
Oh, he was tested.
He was
They
tested.
were
Oh,
undercover. On
He was
you,
undercover.
man.
He was undercover, and I did a great job, and I think that was one of the best moments.
Wow.
So I was right. He was a white guy.
Yeah, he worked for Under Armour, So it was a big, and that's when Steph Curry had his shoes out at the time, and that was the big thing, And
Wait, they did all that testing for you? Were sales?
yeah.
That's a big test for sales. They do that?
Yeah, they do that.
So the test,
They
the
test
test
their
was
secret shop. Yeah.
was about me, but it was really about my bosses
Yeah.
Oh, they wanted
to see the operation of the store because it just opened. So they wanted to
like
see.
if you were rude to them, they would have got fired.
Most
Can't
definitely,
probably,
or I definitely
Yeah.
would have been fired that day.
Yeah.
So that was the moment I realized I could pitch. I
you
could
could
pitch.
see-
Brad, you think
Right.
you're a good guy, but that's not working out. It's not a good fit. Seems to be a little bit rough around the edges.
Yeah, it was. So that was the moment I realized, okay, I could do this, and I went to school for business. I went to
Okay.
school. That's what all athletes do. When they don't know what they want to do with their lives. and-
Yeah. You know what the typical college degree is for? Like I played football in Division II, and I wasn't good. But you know what the average degree is? Is it the same for like athletes in basketball? Hey, what was it? Criminal justice.
Criminal justice.
You're a
yeah.
criminal justice.
It's
major.
always business or criminal
Why
justice.
is it criminal justice? I guess because a lot of them are like they're big guys, they're athletes. Like I know personally athletes who didn't, who went on didn't go pro. Obviously, after college, they were cops, firemen, criminal justice, or firemen or
A
something.
lot of my teammates just wanted to know how they can get around certain laws because
That's a good reason.
they were
too.
breaking a lot of laws. So they
yeah.
wanted to learn how to get around it. And-
Yeah.
But business was definitely because everybody's we're all in class together and everybody's like, yeah, I'm gonna be an entrepreneur. And then we realized junior year it's like
It's a lot of work.
the NBA dream is going away. what we gonna do?
Yeah. For girls, it's communication and psychology.
I thought it was nursing.
No, that's trending now. That's popular
Yeah.
now. But that's a smart thing. That's a good. But you get a degree in communication or psychology, you might as well not have a degree.
Yeah.
Because you ain't gonna get a job. You ain't gonna get a job, baby.
What'd you go to school for?
I went for for football.
Yeah.
I went to CW Post,
Okay.
which is a D2 school
Yep.
that like I was drifting. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I finished the first season. Second season, I got a second concussion, and I said I'm done with this, and I quit. But I did track,
Okay.
and I turned out to be really good in track at the D2 level.
Okay.
And
Tell us what sport.
the track the throwing
Makes
events,
it-
discus
makes
and
it
hammer.
good
But I was a
sprinter.
really good. I was a very good hammer thrower. They had a really good coach there. But what happened with football was I after 2 years I didn't. The second year I quit. I started because I got redshirted. I only had 3 seasons of eligibility for track.
Yep.
And in 3 seasons I was third in the country in D2 in the weight throw, indoor
that's
weight throw.
amazing.
Yeah, and so if I had one more year, it would have been good because then I would have, but I didn't get that chance. But then I majored in radiologic technology, MRI. So what I do is I like MRI, CAT scan, that type of stuff.
Okay.
I do that.
right.
Yeah. But like nursing, like like I'm talking to my daughter now, and like that's a great field. You come out of school, you're making $120,000 out of school now as a nurse with a 2-year degree. You can't. That's why it's trending. Because people see the jobs out there and they see what's going on and making money and how much houses cost.
I did communications,
Okay.
but because I can tell my Caribbean parents, hey man, I want to do comedy. I want to do comedy.
Listen, my mother is from St. Thomas,
Okay, yeah.
so I get it. I completely understand. I couldn't
yeah.
tell my mom, I want to be a rapper. That wasn't
Yeah.
that wasn't the thing.
And I had a godfather that had more of a handle on the educational system and stuff. He had me take every city test you could. I was city correction officer, firefighter, police officer, bus driver.
Yeah.
What's that one? What was the one that court officer.
So that's a good one. I know somebody that's a really good one.
Yeah,
You know, that
actually,
stands next to the judge.
yeah, actually, I would have loved to have done that one.
That's a good one.
I think that started like right off the bat, 65,000. You know, in the 90s, you started in 65,000.
No, that was good pay, and it's still good pay today.
And you had a gun too.
You got a gun. And there's always a black guy in the court, right? Dun, 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 dun. You always smile. Remember the guy who murdered somebody?
Yeah.
Well, that was on Judge Judy, right? Or one of the other judges. One of those. Yeah, you'd be good there.
Yeah,
you
it'd
know?
be like, all right, and I put on a fake Jamaican accent. All right. Quiet, no bumble. Quiet.
Once in a while, somebody lunges for the judge. One of those lunatics, you gotta like.
Idiot.
Oh, you ever see those videos? They gotta dive him, and stop him. You know? Yeah. I'm beat him like a plantain. Plantain. I'm gonna beat him like a plant.
I don't want
my
to do the
God.
Jamaican accent because my
I realized I just
when
did
I
it.
do it.
Oh, good. But, you know, we comedians,
Oh, for
man.
sure.
So we was, you know, we get into accents and characters and all that stuff anyway. So I mean, that's
Oh,
what
I
it did.
had a
You had a
no, I had a
specific
question. No. What? So we talked about before the podcast started that I asked you played football and your dad was a pro. Or what did you say? You said no.
No, I strayed away from football. The expectations were too high for me to be his son and play football. You know, the moment I had a football, I was about 4 or 5, and everybody, NFL, you know. No. So that
You feel
led
pressure.
me-
You felt the pressure.
Yeah, you know. And
Did he give you the pressure, or more like the?
You want to
family?
know what's funny? I'll say this. I don't even recollect a moment where my dad said, "You playing football,
That's
or
cool.
you're going to
That's
try
good.
football." The most my dad ever did was my later years. He would say, "See, if you played football, you could have probably had this type of opportunity. You would have been an extra tougher player in
Yeah.
basketball, things like that." You know, he did things like that. But growing up, he never pressured me. But then again, when I was a kid, I instantly became good in basketball. There was never a point. I'm just being honest. There was never a point in my life where I was not good in basketball.
Did you thought you were gonna be pro?
Honestly, I really did. You know, they throw out rankings and things like that. You know, by 5th grade, I was top 5 in New York City and things like that. You know, so you couldn't tell me I wasn't going to make it. But I realized by the time I hit high school, my work ethic wasn't there. You know, I was good, I was talented, and I got by, and that got me a scholarship to college. But I seen some of my friends, you know, the Donovans, and you know, some of my other teammates on AAU. Go high major Division I, you know, Kentucky, Duke, Connecticut.
You think
and I'm like, yeah, I'm not, it's not me.
But you think if you that somehow had a different mindset and you put the work in, you could have been there?
My work ethic was my only downfall. You know, so some people, I like to say this to the kids that I coach now.
Right.
Every player has one glaring flaw. One. You know, if you're LeBron James, right? You know, they'll say he doesn't have the clutch gene. You know, in clutch moments, he's not like Michael Jordan. He's not, you know, he doesn't grind the way Kobe Bryant does. Yeah. Kobe Bryant coming up in his career. Oh, he's a ball hog. He doesn't pass the ball. Oh, Shaquille O'Neal, his work ethic wasn't that great. You know, he would wait until training camp to start working hard. Everybody, even from pros all the way down, has one glaring flaw, and I think my work ethic was mine. You know, because I relied on the talent for so long. And when I was a kid, I was abnormal sized. You know, so then when I get to the end of my middle school career and I start seeing kids or 6'10", 6'8" already in middle school, I'm like,
Jesus.
Now I'm an undersized big man. I go from the biggest kid on the court, I got to bring my birth certificate to my games in junior high school to now I'm the undersized guy. I'm Draymond Green.
What's up, shorty?
Yeah, you know. And so, but what led me to basketball ultimately was me honestly despising the fact that all I did was hear about my dad's football career.
You want to be your own
You know,
man.
I wanted to be my own man.
Do
I
your
wanted
own
to
thing.
be. I wanted to be different.
That's
you know?
yeah.
Everywhere we went, I know he's playing football, right, Sam? You know, it was everywhere.
Yeah, it's always those friends that say stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I noticed it's never the parents, it's the friends. Yeah.
So what made you went from player to go, I can coach?
When I realized I graduated college and I'm looking around and I'm like, what am I going to do next?
Okay.
You know, when I was playing, I never thought about coaching, ever. It was never a thought in my mind. When I graduated from college and I told my parents on senior night, this is it, and I seen how it broke them, emotionally because of all the time invested. You know, my mom says till this day, you know, those were some of the best times of her life, being able to travel with me and do certain things with basketball. You know, the moment I told them that and I saw how it affected them immediately, it put me in a dark place. You know, I don't mean to go into the emotional side of things,
that's all right.
but it is what
We
it
here at
is.
the Velvet Sugar Podcast. We can our feelings sometimes.
You know, so it put me in a very dark place. After my college career was finished and after basketball was finished, you know, I often thought about, am I just going to stay at this job my entire life?
What age
next
were you
for
when
me?
what you're talking about now? What age?
I'm 30 now. That was about 22, 23 years old.
That's also when I went, I guess, like we got a little similarity there. Like as an athlete, when you quit sports, you do go into like this depression almost. When I was, did you hear your whole life how big you are?
Yeah.
You remember when you're like about 21, 22, when you're done with that and you just tell somebody how old you are? Like I would always tell somebody, they'd be like, how tall are you? How old are you? 19, oh my God. And then when I hit 21, 22 and you tell somebody, they just be like, they didn't ask or they didn't care. You're now in the adult world. They don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Who cares?
And then when
you're
start
just
to-
another guy.
Not a big guy.
Yeah, and you don't get
start
that
to
attention.
realize
You don't get that
the
attention anymore. It's
that
gone.
attention
It just
factor is
goes
just
away.
gone. You know,
Yeah.
and I hid behind being an athlete, you know, for almost everything. You know, it was my whole genetic makeup. It was literally my alter ego, everything. And it's almost like I'm Bruce Wayne and I light the Batcave on fire. I have nothing. No Alfred, nothing. Like
That's
it's
big
just,
fucking Bruce Wayne.
you know. So it's almost like, you know, I have nothing, and that's what put me in a dark place. And then one day, I was having fun with my college friends. It was my senior year, but you know, it was the end. Season's over, so I'm done. But I'm still in school, and I came up with a group name for us called the Dog Pound, right? So of course, you know, Snoop Dogg and them, they already have that. And then I shortened it, and I said, okay, we just the Pound.
Yeah.
And the name, you know, stems from different reasons, you know, life of a college kid.
Yeah.
But when I came home, I brought the name back home with me.
Okay.
And that's how my basketball enterprise came about, the Pound. And
Tell us about the Pound. Tell us about
you know,
tell
the
us about
Pound is literally, there's a terminology where people say, you know, if you got a really good team, oh, you got the brick, oh, you have the Pound. So that was another reason why I took the name. I said, meaning my team is going to be a bomb squad every single time. Yeah. I'm going to put guys together that normally play against each other, that normally try to slaughter each other every night they play, all on the same team. We won the tournament at the Greenburgh Center. It's a legendary tournament in Westchester. We won it 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
Nice.
And by that time, I said to myself, okay, I'm a real coach now. You know, when you start wearing rings and, you know, start getting hoodies and jackets.
How long were you coaching at that point?
At that point, that was my first year.
That was your first year.
I didn't start training kids. I didn't start coaching
Nice.
kids. I went straight to grown men.
Wow.
And that's what laid the foundation for the kids to look up to us and start looking at me as a valuable coach.
And now you teach. Now you coach.
Now
kids.
I do all the above. Now.
all of them.
And
all
you
of them.
from fundamentals right up to.
All the way from 6th, 7th grade. I coach a modified team now.
Who do you like coaching more, the adults or kids? Don't worry, the kids aren't listening. They're not gonna cry.
I enjoy. I've never been asked this question. This is funny.
We here to
put 'em on the
podcast. Yeah, it's a tough question.
I enjoy coaching the kids.
See that adults? He doesn't like you. He likes the kids more. You're just there because you got nothing to do. Go back to your wife and stop with the basketball, all right? You're not going to go pro. You're 40.
You know,
You're like the guy in the stands with a baseball glove. You're not in the game, all right? All right, go ahead.
I'll say
Sorry.
this. You know, the kids.
I think you get to pour into the kids.
Yeah, I get to pour in more, and they have, because of how good my grown men teams are, they have no choice but to listen.
Nice.
It's almost a situation where it's like, you know what, he has to know what he's talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
And-
Kids are funny. They think they know everything, and they want to see you be like really successful to prove it to them. You could have a resume. It doesn't matter.
You know, I
See
almost
you
had
prove it.
a super surreal moment happen 2 summers ago, and I feel like I'm lying talking about it. Like I feel like right now as I'm speaking, I know it's something that was going to happen,
Still hard to believe.
but it's hard to believe. I almost coached LeBron James.
Oh.
at Dykeman Park 2 summers ago. I'm very well connected with a financial literacy group called Earn Your Leisure.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they are heavily connected with LeBron and his people. So, one summer I'm working at the summer camp with the kids, and it's about 8 a.m.
Yeah.
And I get a text. Days prior, they laid it out and they said, "You might be coaching LeBron next week." And I said, and I froze because that's my favorite player ever.
Yeah.
And they said, if Bryce James, his youngest son, comes to New York City to play at Dykeman with Cayenne Anthony, Carmelo Anthony's son,
Yeah.
the next day after, you'll be coaching LeBron James. So let's say it was a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Tuesday comes, no Cayenne Anthony, no Bryce James. So I tell my boys, I'm like, yeah, it's done. It's not happening.
Yeah.
The Wednesday morning comes, I get a text while I'm at work, and it says, Bron is in the city. And I start hyperventilating. And I start sweating, I start losing. And my boss is like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, I think I'm about to coach LeBron James tonight. And my guy said, we're going to the airport to pick him up now. So they're in the car with him. They're with him all day.
Yeah.
So now time is getting closer. People start calling my phone. I didn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
They told me not to tell anybody.
Right.
But somebody must have told on somebody else's end. So now people's calling. Oh, I hear you doing big things tonight. I'm like, what you talking about? I don't know what you I know LeBron is playing with you tonight. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, of course.
So then, I get to Dykeman Park, extra police presence,
Wow.
undercover agents.
Where's
I'm like,
Dykeman Park?
And it's in like borderline Harlem, the Bronx, but it's in Harlem.
Okay.
And that's the hottest street ball tournament in the world right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I seen the undercover agents, and I'm like, oh, what's happening? Because they're not normally here.
Right.
The Sprinter van comes up with my guys. They get out first. No LeBron. So I go, where's LeBron?
Yeah.
He did a taping for his show, The Shop.
Yeah.
And I guess guests were showing up a little later than what they expected, so it had to be pushed back. And that's the reason he didn't play.
And then I actually heard about that. And what he actually did when that happened is he actually flopped. Which is ironic. Who brought the asshole? Who brought the asshole? Sorry.
Where's the foul? Oh, God.
So, when moments like that happen,
Yeah,
I say all of that to say this. When moments like that happen, the kids buy in a little extra.
Yeah.
And it's like, then I have the Pound Invitational, my high school all-star game at Yosemite Park in Greenburgh, and Donovan Mitchell sends over 60 pairs of his own personal sneakers.
Oh, awesome.
For the kids to play in and for the
awesome.
coaches to wear.
Yeah.
So when that happens, now the kids are like, oh, yeah, they know what they're doing. This group knows what they're talking about.
They get nervous, the kids?
I think
You think?
a little bit.
They're just excited.
I think so, but I think for the most part, they attack the situation at hand by, I'm gonna work hard because I want to be on that level that Donovan is on, to where I can
it
say,
motivates you.
Yeah, it's a different type of motivation.
Me and David comics, and if we go see like a high-end comic or like a known comic, you come back, we're like, nothing motivates you like seeing a real pro at a high level.
He actually got to host for Colin Quinn.
A guy named Colin Quinn,
last year.
Yeah.
Situations like that, that's the best motivator, to see somebody on a level that you want to be on.
Yeah.
Listen, if it's in you to have the competitive nature and to want to be better, it's only going to make you want to be better.
True.
So
let me ask you then. Do you think then you would take, let's say, a college coaching gig if it comes up? College coaching.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Do you have, because you're familiar with the game you played, you're around the game obviously in connections, do you think you got any kind of eye on the NBA? Any kind of assistant coaching?
If that's far-fetched for me at the moment, but if it was to come up, I'm not sure.
Listen, you'd be surprised what happens. Let me tell you a quick story. So when I played D2 ball, I played at CW Post, right? And my offensive line. You know, in football, there's every coach for every. So I was offensive line.
Right.
My coach was a guy named Kyle Flood, and the guy. You follow football at all? College football or
Slightly.
a little bit. All right. So he coached me 1 year, and then he left. I was like, this guy's the best. He was so amazingly nice. And coaches aren't like that in football.
Yeah.
They're like, you know, like kind of like grunts sometimes, you know. This guy was a smart, intelligent coach. The offensive line was amazing that year, and so he leaves the next year, and this was in 1998. Like 5 years ago, I'm watching TV and I see a whole Rutgers scandal. He's the head coach. He's the one who got in a little trouble because he visited you know, you can't recruit a sophomore. He got in trouble for that, talking to a kid too early. Wasn't nothing like super bad, but making millions coaching Rutgers. He was the head coach of Rutgers.
Wow.
Offensive line coach, D2, head coach of Rutgers. Yeah. And that salary was like, you look him up, it was like a couple million, whatever it was.
Fred, man.
So
Listen,
you go
listen,
from
I
D2
would
to
never
that.
turn that down.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, you know, I'm taking it one step at a time, but I'm making it to a point where the kids that I coach and everybody around me knows. Listen, if those situations come up, I'm taking it.
Of course.
And they'll respect that.
Yeah,
but I love coaching them way more than the men. The men, it's like I'm a glorified chaperone. Coaching grown men because
You're listening.
I get
Try
all
harder. Try harder.
I get all the credit when we win.
Yeah.
Stop blaming your knees.
And it's
your
all
bad
my
back.
fault when we lose.
Yeah.
You know, I should have subbed you in at this point. I should have subbed you out at that point. I should have done that. I should have called this guy to come play.
Man.
You know, it's all of those things. You know, so when I think about who I like coaching better, I say the kids.
Yeah. What age do you coach? What age do you coach?
I coach.
And have you coached?
7th and 8th grade right now. Well, I coach 7th through 12th, basically.
7th through, that's a big difference.
Because I coach.
That's
My 7th and 8th grade team is what I primarily coach. I'm the head coach. I'm an assistant for a varsity team
Okay.
for high school.
okay.
So, you know, when I'm done with this group, I go to the other gym
big
to that
difference,
group.
7,
And
8
it's
to-
totally
to-
big difference.
Yeah.
You know, the discipline is different. Everything's a little
They're
different.
kids.
You know,
They're middle
yeah.
school kids, sure.
You know, I would like to say I'm preparing my middle school kids though very well.
Yeah.
Not just, you know, basketball wise, just as young men.
Yeah, that's great.
You know, and that's my main thing.
Yeah, because most kids that get involved in sports, even if they may not make it to the highest height, the pros or whatever, they're able to take these fundamentals and apply it to every aspect of life. Because it's a sports.
To me-
being good at athletics and sports is about a discipline.
Dude,
and a person.
If you play sports or in the military, those two things go so handy. You have a different work ethic, a different outlook.
I think
of course.
if I played more sports, I think I'd have been a better comedian, discipline wise. Because sometimes you don't want to write.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't want to. Like, hey, I don't feel like writing. But you know, I'm doing a little better at that.
But yeah, most definitely. You know, so it's the Pound, my organization. We do girls high school, boys high school, and men's.
So is there any are there any websites where, like, if I want to like go see tournaments in Westchester, like I would go see that. I didn't even know that even existed.
So
the
one of the top tier tournaments in Westchester right now is in White Plains, New York. Ferris World Ball, and we won a championship there. That's where we got our start to kind of get our name out to branch off into New York City.
that's every year,
That's every summer. Yep.
and you coach that.
Yep. And I coach in that tournament.
Okay, we got.
Where's that located?
White Plains.
White Plains.
We
Okay.
got 3 minutes left. So give us your handle. Give us all your handles.
My Instagram handle is Federico_the Pound. I also have another handle for my team, The Pound Hoops, on Instagram.
Right.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. But if you want to watch anything, you know, shout out to my guy Chris Gotti. There's an app called Clash TV, and you get to see every tournament in New York.
So want to know what's my dream? I'm going to tell you right now. I'm not lying, because we're comedians. So we're just, that's how we are. We're attention-seeking show people. To go at any level, a sporting event, to commentate, the color commentator. Like, you know, you have the serious who know basketball.
yeah.
Like Bill Burr did that for a
yeah.
football game. He was laugh. I want to do that so badly. Sit there and commentate for like
This guy's got a big head.
Oh yeah, let's get it done. I'll make it happen.
You hear that?
Oh,
I'll make it happen.
whoa, that's happening.
Color commenter Alex Kohler, comedian Alex Kohler.
I might get jumped by some of the players. Like I heard you on the podcast saying we're no good. And the kids
He was
are
like,
Then they'd be like, "No, he's Russian, y'all. Not chill."
So I think we're gonna do a live stream from home. I don't know if you want to be there or not. It gets a little intense.
Man, this has been fun, Fred. Thanks for coming through, man. This has been
Thank
fun,
you. I
man.
appreciate you guys. I
Yeah,
appreciate
man.
you guys so much.
Yeah, my brother.
You already know.
You know that.
Yep.
You know that, man.
This is a very different handshake.
Yeah.
That's all right. That's all good. I'm addressing I'm looking at your hands. All right. I was excited. All right, taking notes.
Yeah.
All right.
Give us your handle. Give us handle.
At Big Alex Comedy.
I'm at Black Rock Dave.
And
Also, this is the Velvet Sugar podcast at Velvet Sugar. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Give us a listen, give us a like, leave a comment, man. Tell a friend about it. Say you can even say we suck. At least it's a comment.
It's a comment.
You know what I mean? That's what we want. Yeah, man. It's been fun. How much time we got? Like a minute left, almost. What we want to do in a minute?
Well, you went from you look at your life, man. 12-pound baby to one day possible pro coach.
Yeah.
You don't know what's gonna happen.
It's been a journey, but I'm all for it, man.
Yeah,
Thumbs up.
because especially these days, you never know. Coaching opportunities could pop up anyway. It could be Europe, it could be South America. It could
And
be
listen,
the
if
Middle
it
East.
makes sense,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
taking it.
Basketball is growing and growing all over. Like in America, it's always been big.
Yeah.
But like what's happening in Europe with basketball, is it growing also in South America, China, Asia?
Yeah.
It's growing everywhere.
I don't know.
It's so global. It's growing everywhere.
Chinese, they're just not
Men and women, it's growing.
Chinese. Just
And you got a
only
ton of
young
like
men,
Yugoslavian, like the Serbian, Croatians coming over, Slovenians, right?
But the
Why you
Chinese
gonna
are
laugh?
still short. That's why. The Mexicans and the Chinese, and they're
Yeah.
like, Mexicans like, we want to play, boy. I know.
Right?
No, but it's good. Got David Stern started that to make the NBA global, and I think it has been it's not rivaling soccer because that's insane.
Yeah,
that's on
sure.
another level. But basketball is still global.
Yep.
It's global. It's a global game, man. So, okay, man. This has been fun. Thanks for tuning in, and we see you again. This has been episode 20 of the Velvet Sugar Podcast. I'm not doing this together with Alex. This is ridiculous. No.
Let's go. The Pound, the hottest ticket in town.
See that? I learned 2 minutes ago, and
It's
now
aggressive.
sorry about that.
Aggressive.
You're gonna be- All right.
All right.
All right.